So, Martin, like in recent years, there is an interesting shift which is happening in India. Like India is moving from more traditional values to modern values.
Mhm.
And because of that, the females have started going out of home and started to work. Okay. So
Yes,
many men come to me and complain that after the females have started going out to work, they are not able to pay that much attention to their household chores and to their children and the family
yeah,
values and the things which they have to do in their family. So, what
yes.
advice do you have for females who want to balance pursuing their goals at the same time balancing their family life?
What do I suggest to the females?
Yeah,
Oh,
how can they balance their pursuit for goals
well,
and how can they balance their
they
family life?
I mean, they simply need a man who is evolved enough not to feel threatened by that and supports their female partner in finding this work family balance by also contributing, to raising the children and doing the homework. And that is a huge problem, right? Because, I grew up in a family where my mother never had an outside job. Her job was to raise the children and to care for the home and for my father. And
Okay.
so my mother couldn't basically leave the relationship. It's probably the traditional relationship, or she would have had to go back to her parents, her family, right? And so we men felt very secure as long as we were the only breadwinners. And now we have to deal with this situation that a lot of women say, I no longer need a man, right? I want a man, but I no longer need him. And
Need a
that
man.
feels very scary I mean, I was at that point and said, how can I know that she will stay or what is the value that I contribute to this relationship? To my wives, it was the money that I made because they were full-time homemakers. But then the women I dated, they all had jobs and they often had much more money than I did. So there is a book called The All or Nothing Marriage by Ellie Finkel, who
Okay.
is a little bit behind, right? But he says, well, couples, they want to develop in their relationship. They want to become better persons, and that's often the females who have more interest in that. The new training that we're starting right now, we have more
Yeah.
men than women, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Right? So men, I think, slowly are catching on. And so for a woman, it's just to find one of the men, right, who have done some work and can answer these questions about intimacy, and that the couple says, what is the purpose of our relationship beyond family and children?
Children.
Do we have a purpose, right? Or just going on cruises? That's not a purpose, right? That's an activity. Is there something where we want to develop as humans? Do we want to contribute something? And what do we want to contribute? Right? So looking at each other. So when Bill and Melinda Gates announced their divorce, they said, Melinda specifically said, we can no longer grow together. So to have this, I'm sounding now like a broken record, right? To find someone who wants to learn, he'll grow together, and to have some kind of shared purpose that contributes to society. Can be
Okay.
the community or can be the whole world, right? When we leave this planet, what do we want to know as a couple, what we uniquely contributed to make the world a better place?
Yeah.
And then it's much easier, right, to share household chores and the raising and finding this work-life balance.
That's great, Martin. So, this was a really helpful piece of advice for all the females who are struggling with this issue.